Sewell, the Detroit pastor, his speech was quite over the top, quite performative. He is, for those who are asking, and including those who are texting me and asking who he is the Detroit area pastor who held a rally, an event for Donald Trump during the campaign, at which it was reported as a black church, and many of the members are African American, but that day, the audience inside of the church were white MAGA supporters who had been around nearby. But the last thing I'll say is, it was a speech that was quite over the top, and I'm not sure what the point was, other than he is becoming quite famous in MAGA world. Donald Trump, in this address, declared himself to be a peacemaker and a unifier not long after declaring that he would end diversity, equity, and inclusion in all of government, rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, and slight indigenous Americans by returning Mount Denali, which is the indigenous name, to again be called Mount McKinley. McKinley being someone who believed in something that Donald Trump repurposed for himself. Manifest destiny,
there you go,
which is one of the most racist concepts in the history of America. It was the empire and colonization principle that America had a right, and in fact a duty, to colonize and take over non-white places in the world and own them. And he made that direct threat against the nation of Panama, which owns the Panama Canal. And he made sure that he included a slight to the late Jimmy Carter for having made the deal to return the canal to the government who owns it, Panama. So not sure that peacemaker and unifier was much evidenced in the words that he said. As president,
former President Biden and former First Lady Jill Biden, that is technically called HMX-1 rather than Marine One, once it is a former president on board. They're going to Joint Base Andrews. That's going to be about a 45-minute, that's a quick flight to Joint Base Andrews, and then they're expecting to have sort of a short farewell with their nearest and dearest staff before they're back to Delaware. Former Vice President, there's Joint Base Andrews.
Oh, well.
Former Vice President,
let's get it.
Kamala Harris and her husband, Doug Emhoff,